Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're back on Warhammer 40,000 lore. We're going to be doing Chaos Faction overview today. We just did the Imperium one in the last episode. I'll have a link at the end screen for that one. Also, we'll be doing a Xenos one coming up after this one, so stick around for that one. Alright, let's get into it.
We are chaos. Chaos is strong.
The Immaterium, Ether, Sea of Souls, the realm of chaos, but most commonly known as the Warp, is another dimension that is made from the psychic energy and is in the background of the physical universe. It is within this warp that ships can enter, cutting time on travel between the stars. It functions as faster than light interstellar travel. It is only possible with the help of psychic attuned humans called navigators that can follow through the currents of psychic energy to their destination. These navigators use the Astronomicon, essentially a lighthouse in loose terms, to help guide the ship to the correct point. The ship also needs to have a warp drive device that can cut a hole in reality to let the ship enter and leave the Immaterium. This form of travel can do what conventional propulsion does in years down to hours and has helped humanity conquer the galaxy. If not for this form of travel, the Imperium would not have the galaxy-spanning empire that they have today. The warp is where all psychic powers come from. The sorcerer's place is where the gods of chaos call home, and it is there where they make their realm with legions of demonic followers that fight in their name. They can exist here for all time, where only when the veil is weak on the plane of mortals can the demons go through, and even then it takes much of their energy just to stay in the material realm. If they lose their grip on the material realm, then they are banished back to the warp, where they have to look for another way to enter into the realm of mortals. The psychic energy of this place is made from all species of the galaxy. It is a dark reflection of the material universe made from the raw emotions of all creatures given physical form. It is where all the living things' souls go when they die, akin to an underworld for this universe. In the realm of chaos, there are 4 gods that are trying to vie for total control of the Immaterium. Each of these mighty lords have their own dominion that they maintain, which is reflected in their own personality and interest. They have a legion of followers that are very similar to their gods in looks and needs. The 4 gods are named Khorne, Slaanesh, Tzeentch, and Nurgle, and they are all fighting against each other, or like they like to call it, the Great Game, to see who can have supreme power over the Immaterium and material realm. The first Chaos God we will talk about is Khorne, who commands the Blood God's domain. He's known as the Blood God, Lord of Skulls, and Lord of Rage. He's the god of war, hate, rage, blood, murder, but also of honor, pride, strength, and duty. Every act of killing or murder in the material universe gives him strength. The more senseless and destructive, the better. There's no temple of Khorne, for every battlefield is his temple. He only asks his followers to bleed and take skulls, which it does not matter if it ends up being their own in the end. Next, there's Slaanesh, who is in charge of the Dark Prince's realm. They are known as the Dark Prince, Lord of Excess, and She Who Thirsts. They are the god of pleasure, hedonism, obsession, and excess in all things. Whenever a mortal is overwhelmed by their unquenchable needs, the Dark Prince is there in the shadows, tempting them. Those who indulge in the finest foods, desiring beautiful artworks, striving for perfection in almost anything, could be corrupted by Slaanesh. Though yet the youngest of the 4 gods, Slaanesh is one who caused some of the most recent damage to the material realm, being birthed from the excess of the Eldar Empire. Her coming has caused a giant warp rift called the Eye of Terror, and is the biggest tear in real space ever since. Next there's Tzeentch, who lords over the realm of the sorcerers, known as the Changer of Ways, Lord of Change, Architect of Fate, and the Great Conspirator. This is the god of change, evolution, mutation, ambition, knowledge, trickery, and sorcery. Each is powered by the desire for change and the ambition by immortals. His main power is sorcery. He is the lord of all psychic energy. He uses his power to change and manipulate his enemies. It is those mortals who have the strongest desires that are exploited by him. Each is constantly manipulating and subterfuging the galaxy, never truly having an end, since that would rob him of his power and very existence. And last but not least, Nurgle, who watches over the land of the Plague Lord. Known as the Plague Lord, Grandfather Nurgle, Lord of Pestilence and Lord of Decay. He is the god of disease, decay, destruction, death, and rebirth. The emotion of despair in mortals is what gives him the most power. Nurgle is the most directly involved god when it comes to the plights of mortals who have a fear of death and suffering. He is the cycle of life. Though associated mostly with death, he is also the god of rebirth. Death and decay are part of the life cycle, and he does bring that, but he sees it as without death you cannot bring new life then. The bastion of today is tomorrow's ruin. These four gods are forever in conflict with each other and will never see eye to eye. It is on a rare and horrifying occasion when two or more of them unify for some nefarious purpose and will bring nothing but horror to the material realm. Thankfully, these fragile alliances do not last very long, but they are still devastating. Each of these gods have their own legions that go to war for them. At the head of each one of them is a greater demon, almost akin to an avatar of the god, that will go and take their forces to battle. In order for the demons to get to the material universe, there needs to be a breach of the barrier that is between the warp and real space. These are called warp rifts, breaches of the fabric of reality that can be the size of a bug, the whole sectors of space. They occur usually by some supernatural act from a psychic power or a warp drive malfunction that wounds the fabric of reality. Chaos worshipping mortals can also call demons into existence by having rituals or even enough mortal suffering in one place that can cause a tear in reality. Alongside the beings of chaos are humans that follow them. These cultists fight for their gods and wish to bring them to the material realm. There are also planets that are either in the warp or swallowed in one of these many rifts that have humans living on them. They help bring their chosen gods' wants and desires to the material realm and try to break the barrier between them, causing as much death and destruction as possible. They are not alone either, for there are also space marines who have forsaken their oaths to the Emperor and are now fighting for the Chaos Gods as well. Most notably are the 8 legions that broke away during the Horus Heresy. There are also some renegade space marines that are using these areas to hide from the Imperium, also not wholly committed to fighting for the gods of chaos, but also not allies of the Imperium. The warp is a very horrifying and dangerous place to be, but many Xenos, humans, and demons call it home, and it has existed since the dawn of time. This is the warp. And that'll do it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe if you haven't yet. I got a couple of links here for a couple other videos. Like I said, the next one I'll do will be the overall Xenos video, and we'll go from there. Alright, until next time, see you guys. Take care.